dawned on me. What just happened? Hey, who'd you talk to? What is going on? Really, what's going on? It's me. It's the KINGMIKEL. Well, it's legit fantasy football here Thursday night at 7:05, well, 7:06. Either way, that's when we start the show that started it all. Joining me, as always, Brother Ray. Brother Ray, how are we tonight?
Doing great. Got some exhibition football on tonight, I see.
Yeah, yep, we do. Football season, I'll tell you, is in really full swing. There's stories in abundance around the NFL, right? When I think abundance, I think of the genius Kev. What's up, Kev?
Hey, how's it going, King? How's it going, Brother Ray? You know what? I didn't even look to see who's playing tonight because last week I placed a couple of very small wagers in the preseason. And Brother Ray, he really seemed to appreciate it. He thought that might be indicative of some malfeasance with the corporate finances and some other things. So I have not bet anything tonight. I don't even know who's playing.
Good, because we both thought it was stupid to bet preseason football.
Yeah, I mean, never mind the corporate issues. I thought you'd have to call the Samaritans after something like that.
It's funny. I'll give you a quick story. I walked my dog over to Uncle Robert's, and Uncle Robert comes out, and he says to me, he's looking at the dog. He's like, "That's a big dog." And then my dog took a dump in his yard, and he's like, leave it. If somebody comes walking in my yard and they step in it, good for them, because he never goes outside. I'm like, sure, I'll pick it up. He goes, no, leave it. It's like a landmine. I'm like, all right. Have you been watching football? He goes, yeah, I'm watching it, but you can't bet it. You can't bet preseason. It's ridiculous. No one bets preseason. I'm going, no, I know. And then he goes, all right, I got to get back in the house. The last race is about to go off.
Post time.
It was such a great moment for me. Hey, before I start, I want to do my Buddy Thayer impersonation. Tonight I'll be drinking Flying Dog Raging Bitch IPA. I don't know why I picked it, but I just like the name and I like the weird dog. And I figured, why not pull a Buddy? It's like another beer that's like 9% alcohol, 10% alcohol. You ever notice that with Buddy's alcohol? He gets like a beer. It's never 4%. It's like up there in like the 12s.
Oh, yeah. And they're always from some weird brewery in Rhode Island that nobody's ever heard of, but they're like 11% alcohol. I don't think it's a brewery. I think that's like a still. I think that counts as a still at that point.
I think Buddy's making them if you want to know the truth. All right, here's where I want to start. So the NFL had the brilliant idea of this week having teams practice with each other before the preseason games. So let's run down a couple of these camps, shall we? Bucks Titans fight at camp. Antonio Brown got into it with Chris Jackson, right? So there's a fight there. Rams Raiders canceled their practice due to fights. Ravens Panthers got chippy. 49ers Chargers, they said it was fine. Of course it was with the West Coast people. And then I heard the big one that I want to speak to Brother Ray about. Calvin Ridley of the Falcons practicing against the Miami Dolphins defensive backs and absolutely torching everybody they put his way. Everybody they put his way, he's catching on. Brother Ray, what did you think of that?
I mean, I saw it. To be honest with you, in those drills, there's no pass rush. So the wide receiver can make like 10 moves and then get open. Like in an ordinary situation, the quarterback's going to get sacked if they're going to wait for 6 moves before they throw the ball. I mean, he's good. Waddle's doing the same thing with their defensive backs, and it's going both ways. Those drills are tough on defenses because there is no clock. You basically cover them, and then eventually open because they know where they're going. Now, Ridley's a beast. Ridley's going to be great. I mean, I like the chippiness in camp because we didn't have this last year, and that is part of football. You know, that aggressiveness, close to that point, that line where you get into a fight or you don't. That is football.
It is. No, I'll get that. It is. But Kev, what do you think? Like, no. I don't know if I would have teams practice together anymore. It seems like there's going to be a fight breaking out and someone gets hurt.
They should be able to practice against each other. I mean, it's crazy that it's kind of come to this, but I think the Patriots practice against the Eagles, right? I think they play tonight. I heard a couple little chippy things, which is fine, but it can't break into fights. Like that's insanity. It's because it's really valuable because the problem with regular practices is, let's say I'm a wide receiver, Brother Ray's a cornerback. Every single rep, we go against each other. I know his moves, he knows my moves. So you want to get to see who's actually improving. You want to get them against different people, and that's why they do this. And it's every position. And to not be able to do that because these guys get into fights is silly. They gotta straighten the fights out, but they have to keep doing it.
It's just tough to straighten out the fights, dude, because a lot of time they're fighting for it's like making a statement, like galvanizing your team, showing that you won't let your team may get pushed. It's stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's what causes all these fights, right?
I'll give Belichick credit because there are no fights in New England. I can promise you that this week, not a single Pats player threw a punch, because I remember it was 2 years ago, and a player in a game on TV, Pats player threw a punch at an opposing player, and after that practice, after that game, Belichick had the heavy sled pulled out, and the entire defensive line, even the reserves, had to push the sled up and down the field 4 times, 100 yards, both ways, 4 times. I can guarantee you the Patriots would not be throwing any punches.
Yeah, no. See, now back in the day,
fuck.
What's the matter, Kev? Kev interrupted me with an fuck. Back in the day, the greatest thing was that every year the New York Giants would come to Bryant College to practice with the New England Patriots.
Yes.
Like that was an every year thing when I was a kid. And I would go to that one practice and I would get to see all the Giants players. That was so dope when it was back then. And think about the fact that it was at Bryant College or University now. And it was like what? There really was no security, right? You remember security, Ray? No, it was just like they were just playing and fans knew where to stand and nobody did nothing wrong. It was never a problem. And then they got rid of it and I was depressed for a long time. All right.
I can remember having a beer with Russ Francis at
Really?
a local bar right near Bryant. He was there. He found out I was a Dolphins fan and he wanted to fight me. It's true. So here I am trying to talk down Russ Francis not to beat me up. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, let me ask you this. How did he look as a rookie when you saw him?
Oh God. Oh man. He looked just like a Hawaiian Magnum PI. The coolest guy. He had girls all over him. He had the Hawaiian shirt on, just loose, laid back, the long hair. Man, yeah, he could put him down, that's for sure.
Better looking or worse looking than Kev?
Kev's a good-looking guy, but this was Russ Francis.
Madonna me, Kev. Wow. You got beat by Russ Francis.
Wow.
All right. Since we're talking about depressing stuff, let's go over to the Jets. The worst team, one of the worst 2 teams in the NFL. Let's see what they had. Okay, let's start with safety Zane Lewis, one of their starting safeties. He tore his patellar tendon and sprained his ACL. Did you guys hear that news about their safety? No, that's because it's the Jets. And let me follow that up. Defensive end free agent Carl Lawson that they signed, out for the season, ruptured Achilles.
I heard that. I did see that. Yep.
Now, are these injuries just something that happens, or is it because it's the Jets?
Contact, folks. It's contact. Most of these practices up until now, they've been very controlled. Emphasis on keeping people on their feet, not full pads. Once you get into full pads and you're playing other teams and you're competing, this is when it's going to happen. And again, we didn't have this last year. You really didn't have this in training camp last year. So, yeah, this is just your normal training camp.
Kev?
Well, yeah, I guess we didn't have it for training camp, but a ton of players got hurt, during the season. We kind of heard that, but I don't think it's anything about the Jets. I think it's just like Brother Ray said. This is just what happens when you start doing padded practices like full speed. That's what happens.
I disagree with you both, and I'll tell you why. Because it's the Jets, and there's a black cloud that looms over the Jets. That's just a fact, right? So the last thing that the paper boy needs is for everybody on his team to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like Denzel Mims came down with, even though he's back, came down with food poisoning. Like these are stories that only come from the Jets, is what I'm trying to say. Like they're really just a horrible organization. That's my opinion.
And Denzel Mims is on the bubble, guys. From what I'm hearing, he is close to being cut. And I know that sounds crazy because he was a pretty high pick last year, and he does have some talent. But he's like their fourth or fifth guy right now in the pecking order, which that's a typical Jets move. I could see him getting cut and going on to another team and then just like destroying the league.
That's the blueprint. That's the Jets' blueprint. They ruin wide receivers. We all know this, right? It takes them like a year or two, and they ruin them, Kev.
It would be crazy if they cut Mims. Absolutely crazy. If they cut Mims, like King, like I think you're a little harsh on the Jets. I don't like them. I think they're a disaster. I think you're a little bit harsher. But if they cut Mims, you know, then I got to kind of side with you a little more. But one of the other things that's very strange is Zach Wilson, the Paperboy. He actually had a good first preseason game, and no one wants to talk. It was like 6 for 9. I don't know, somewhere between 60 and 80 yards, a decent little outing, and it didn't do anything to like improve his standing. Like, still nobody believed it, which is kind of odd.
Because you know what, I wish to God he played back when LT played. LT would have scared Zach Wilson to the point where he would have never came back ever. He would probably just became a paperboy because that kid looks like if you whack him a couple of times and get in his head, he might, you know, fall apart and want to go watch a Pixar movie. Like, that's where I'm at with that guy. I don't know. And again, the Jets just suck. You can't argue with that with me. Every year they seem to suck. That's a fact, right? All right. What?
Now, I was going to say, I'll tell you what, I will give him some credit. In the tape, if you look at all the scouting tape, he does take a hit. Like, he is one of the few of these rookie quarterbacks that will stand there and take a hit knowing that he's going to take a hit. And he looks like he's 10, yeah. You know, I mean, he looks like he's 10. He looks like a Ken doll. It's, you know, he doesn't look like that type of quarterback, but he is tougher than you think he is.
Gentlemen, there's a question in the chat, Etienne or Kareem Hunt? I think that's a really good question because PPR and non-PPR are basically the same thing.
Etienne over Kareem Hunt. Yeah.
I mean, this year, I'd like to know what the scoring is in his league.
Is it a keeper league? If it's a keeper league, then again, it's Etienne.
Yeah. Is it a keeper? Is it PPR? Or is it like touchdown? Like, is it heavy on touchdowns?
Yeah, so if Fendi H can get back to us on that with this love that Tracy McGrady. You know, let us know what kind of league it is because there's different
PPR.
stuff. Oh, here we go.
PPR.
Etienne. I would take Etienne in a heartbeat because he's going to be like another receiver. And he's not going to start off as the bell cow. Robinson's going to be that, but he's going to catch a lot of balls. He's going to run a lot of routes. They're going to be a bad team. They're going to be behind. So he's going to have like 7 catches for like 60 yards per game. That's like the floor, okay? As the season goes on, he will start taking some of that running, that red zone stuff away from Robinson. So I would definitely say Etienne.
I 100% agree with that because I agree with the fact that they're going to get to a point, probably by the middle of the first quarter, where they're behind like 14 points, and they're dumping it off to the running back. I see that happening so much that he's just like Trevor Lawrence just dumps it off before he gets sacked. Before he gets sacked, he dumps it off to Etienne.
Yeah,
now,
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. I would Etienne. I don't add anything else. That's what I would go with.
All right. The Madden rankings came out, speaking about quarterbacks. And I'm going to rank 4 quarterbacks in a row that they ranked, and this is what they gave them as rankings. Now, every time Madden rankings come out, everybody's pissed. Everybody thinks they should be higher than they are, whatever that. But this is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Now, Trevor Lawrence got a 78 as a rookie. I think that could be debated, right? Can he be like an 80? Maybe. I don't know. 78. Then it goes 79, Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins is rated a 79. Next, Justin Herbert is an 80.
That's it? Wow.
An 80. Here is where it gets stupid.
Huh.
After Herbert, at 81, ranked 81 overall, Colin Kaepernick.
Why do they still do this? Why do they still do this?
I don't. There is a picture of him with that afro, and he's ranked at an 81. He's higher than Justin Herbert. He hasn't thrown a ball. How long? How does that make sense?
That infuriates me. It absolutely infuriates me. Number one, the fact that Herbert's only an 80. And then, like, okay, if you had a million choices, would you pick Herbert over Kirk Cousins? Yes, by a lot. Not 1 point, not 1 percentage point in Madden. And then the Kaepernick thing. Kaepernick hasn't thrown a pass in what, 5 years?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't even know why you ranked him.
This is a political statement. It's a political thank you, a political pat on the back. It has nothing to do with football. So why are we doing this stuff in a game that should be about football? Period.
My point is this. I'm taking that all aside. I'm thinking of just football. When that guy played, he wasn't even an 81 then. At the end of his career, he was not throwing the ball like an 81 ranked quarterback. Just not. So I don't care about any of that other stuff. Football-wise, how the frig do you rank him above those three guys? Right? Lawrence, the golden boy rookie. Cousins, the underrated guy who's working it out. Herbert, the kid who's on his second year, and he was a killer last year. And then there's Kaepernick. Makes no sense, guys.
Nope.
All right. You want to add into that? I don't think you do because it is what it is with that, right? All right. The Washington football team is down to 8 names. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Well, wait a minute.
Trade JT for Mixon and Woods / Henderson. PPR 10 team. Wow, 10 team league. Keeper league. It's rough. We keep 3 guys year after year. There's not a budget or anything like that attached to the players of this league. So trade. Wait, guys, I know I'm dumb. Who's JT?
Jonathan Taylor, I assume.
Thank you.
It's gotta
All
be
right.
Jonathan Taylor, yeah.
Don't trade Jonathan Taylor. It's a keeper league. So I stop it right at the JT. You could have just wrote trade JT, and I would have said no.
But is he getting 2 players? Is he getting...
Yeah, Mixon and either Woods or Henderson.
I don't know. I mean, Mixon's going to come back this year. I mean, he is the bell cow back there. There's no Bernard that's going to take. He's probably going to catch the ball more than he ever has, and we know he can do it. For those 2 players, I mean, Woods is a quality receiver. Everybody disrespects him, but even Henderson is going to be. He's going to be the starting running back for that team. The biggest, if you're a Henderson owner, you're really happy right now because they sat him out last week. That's a sign that he's going to be their starter from day one. Whenever they sit somebody out. I mean, I love JT. I think Taylor's going to have a great year. But if you're going to get Mixon and either Woods and Henderson in addition, I think I'd have to make that trade.
See, they go 10 team leagues. It's all-star teams. So Mixon shit the bed last year. I'm not, and I invested a lot in him last year in other leagues, not corrupted, but in other leagues. I'm not convinced he's going to come back. I don't think Henderson is amazing either.
A true one, yeah.
I would probably keep JT because I like 10 team leagues. I think all you want is studs, so I would probably keep JT.
There it is. You said it perfectly. In a 10-team league, I think big name players and studs mean so much more to just collect them, right? Because you probably could get another. I would love to know who his other running backs are because if he's looking to trade JT, who the frig else do you got? You know what I mean? Like that's a
good question.
Don't look to trade down, you know. But all right, joining us is Mastradamus. I guess I'll pronounce the next name. It's Sir Matteo de Mastradamus, aka M1, aka Mastradamus, aka the Card Hog, aka Mr. Never Left. God damn, you got more names, almost as much as I do. What's going on, Matt?
Thank you. Hey, gentlemen, it's good to see all of you. How are you doing? Hey,
how you doing, guys? I've been.
I'm on top of the mountain today. I told everybody just jump on the train. Now I got the freaking Brinks truck following me around. It's incredible.
Hey, and he's got a cigar. Atta boy, Matty. All right.
It's time to celebrate. Hey.
Yes, it is. And today is a day of celebration, bitches. So let me go on to this now. Here's one that I love. Just a couple comments that I love. Or wait a minute, hold on. The kid has Henry. Ooh. Why would you wait? How many running backs do you keep? Why would you not keep Henry and Jonathan Taylor and just call it a day?
Wow.
Right? Oh, I want to chirp in on this, Kyle. You don't move on from Mixon for those two. You got two guys coming back from the same team. I would never do that. I don't like having the same players. Not to mention Henderson, I don't think is trending up. I think he's going to take the back seat. And it's going to be a committee. It's going to be a committee. He's not going to be the lead guy.
Who's going to be the lead guy?
They have a guy straight from college back there. It's not going to be Henderson. The guy they drafted has more upside, electric moves. Henderson is a plotter. I like Henderson. I think he's a fine back. I just don't think that he's a lead back. I think it was earth shattering for them to lose Cam Akers.
Well, I don't think either way that this kid should, Kyle should screw around if you've got Henry and Jonathan Taylor as your running backs in a 10-team keeper league. Like, dude, just keep those guys.
I'd like to see who his wide receivers are, though, because Woods is a good wide receiver. I mean,
you can never get too many decent backs. Backs fall down quickly. He's got good backs now. Let's see week 4, week 5. And I wouldn't move on from Mixon for those two plays. I'd keep him if he does want to move on.
He doesn't have Mixon.
Jonathan Taylor.
Again. You would be
Jonathan Taylor. You get Jonathan Taylor
and Derrick Henry, right? And Henry he's got.
Yeah, but he's trying to trade. He's wondering if you should trade Jonathan Taylor. They started off with this. No. Here's what it started off with. Well, this guy asked this, and then we went to this one who asked this. Should I trade Jonathan Taylor for Mixon in either Woods/Henderson?
Jonathan Taylor's going against the worst rushing team in the Jaguars twice a year. And they got the Texans. That's twice. So let's think about this, right? I like strength of schedule. I would never trade Jonathan Taylor. I think he's the top 5 back in the league, and it could easily be 3-4.
I agree with that. Exactly.
I disagree. I think if they had stability at quarterback, I know you're going to argue with me right there because you're a big Jacob
Brother Ray, guy. You do not want to fight.
If they had a decent quarterback and they didn't have injuries on the offensive line, I would tend to agree. But if you're going to, depending on what he has at wide receiver, if he has studs at wide receiver, yeah, then you sit because it is a 10-team league.
Did you just say if they had a decent? If you just said
Woods is a talented wide receiver. I don't know who else he has at wideouts.
He didn't answer. I asked.
You see my chin?
You're making my chin mad. You're making his chin upset.
You talking shit about Jacob Eason, man?
I think I'm gonna go glasses against cigars.
No, not at all. On top of that, Matt, just for the record, even though we're both smoking cigars, even though we're both smoking cigars,
both handsome too.
I agree to that too. Jacob Eason, however, no, I don't agree with. I can't agree with. All right, here's the thing: the 3 players I'm keeping are Henry, Brown, and DK. JT, Mixon, Woods, and Henderson will be in our draft. I'm asking for this trade due to where I think the players will fall in the draft. Then he says it's complicated, and I'm sorry. First of all, don't ever freaking apologize for anything that's got to do with fantasy football. Worries, man. Don't ever apologize. Again, stick with what you have and let them fall in the draft. Why would you trade if you think they're going to fall? Let those guys fall. Kev?
Which Brown is this?
All right. Let me really be.
It can't be.
Right? It's got to be from Tennessee.
Let me be serious about.
He's got AJ Brown and DK. Yeah, he doesn't need Woods. Yeah, you don't need Woods. I mean,
just stay with what you got, Kyle. You're getting a little too nervous there.
AJ Brown and DK.
Yeah, I mean, stay with what you got.
And not for nothing, Joe Mixon was not good last year. He had 6 games, I believe, and it was like 3.45 yards a carry. What we've seen from him has not been good, and I would tread lightly on him. I wouldn't think that he's going to be so good this year just because they did some more weapons on the outside. That offensive line is still not, shaped up. We'll see about it.
I like him.
I'm not sold on Mixon.
Matt, so you missed the Madden rankings? And I'm going to give them to you really. I'm going to give them to you really quick. There's 4 quarterbacks. They were ranked just like this. Trevor Lawrence was a 78 overall. Kirk Cousins was a 79 overall. Justin Herbert was an 80 overall. And coming in at an 81, Colin Kaepernick. Swear to God. Swear to God. I'm not making it
Colin
up.
Kaepernick wishes he could chuck the ball around like Justin Herbert.
He does. He definitely does. Not even close. Justin Herbert is so much a better quarterback than friggin' Kaepernick. It's not even close.
Well, I haven't thought Madden was worthy in a long time, so that's what I'll say about them.
All right.
They introduced EA assistants, and if you guys don't know much about the gaming world, it threw out they threw out the competitive nature of gaming. Like I used to just straight up just toss people around like ragdolls on Madden, and then they introduced EA assistants. If you're beating up people too bad, they'll make your foot in the mud. You can't do nothing, and then all of a sudden they're just scoring 30 points on you. You can't do nothing about it. They're bringing them back in the game. It's like you're beating them up too bad. You're beating them up too bad. So fun.
You know what? It's because so many kids go friggin' into a rage when they lose a game. I mean, the worst place to be is on like a video game console type chat room, or if you let the people chat and listen to them. There's nothing but profanities. It's like young kids yelling profanities. It makes you think, why as an old guy am I playing a game where there's just a bunch of teenagers swearing the worst words they can think of? I swear to God. But all right, back to my topic. The Washington football team is down to 8 names. These are the final 8 names they're picking from. Let me have a sip of my beer. Here we go. The Armada.
Nope.
What do you think of the Armada? I just want facial expressions when you hear it. Armada, no, right? The Washington Armada. The Washington Brigade. The Washington Defenders. Isn't that the name of the wasn't that the XFL team? What was it? Weren't they like that?
The Oakland
Guardians?
That was the Oakland Invaders, I think. Oakland Invaders.
All right, so
I like the Defenders though. The Defenders ain't bad.
Not bad. Commanders. The Washington Commanders.
All right.
This is the worst one. The Washington Presidents. Who the frig wants that name? Who wants that name right now? But the way things are, who's gonna pick the Washington Presidents? Get out of here. Then there's the Washington football team, which sounds better and better every time I hear it.
I love it.
And then the last 2, which I think are the best 2, I think the ones are gonna go with the Red Hogs.
Yes, the Hogs. It's gonna have Hogs in it.
Has a huge connection to Washington. It has, but the Hogs has a huge connection with Washington. And finally, to me, the front runner, the Washington Red Wolves. Listen, you know how many people are going to be howling like wolves in the stands? You know what it's going to be like at a game when they're howling like wolves? Like, I think the Red Wolves could be a decent team. Now, out of all those names, Brother Ray, which one stuck with you?
I mean, I'm a traditionalist. Hogs somewhere in that name. I mean, that's what you remember those great Super Bowl teams with, Jacoby and Russ Grimm. I mean, and Riggins. The Hogs. Like, just make it the Washington Hogs. What is wrong with that? Who cares? I mean, stop with this presidents and the Washington Congress and stop.
The Red Hogs, though. Kev?
Read them back really, really fast.
Armada, Brigade, Commanders, Defenders, Presidents, Red Hogs, Red Wolves, football team.
I would either go Commanders or just leave it as football team. They're all terrible. It's terrible.
I like the Red Wolves. I think you guys are sleeping on this. Matt?
It's silly.
When I first heard Armada, it didn't really stand out to me, but I like it. And to be honest with you, I think Hogs is the top, but I do dig Armada. I'm not down with the Wolves. I'd rather think Hogs. There's a lot of Hogs and pigs and, the Razorbacks and that in football, so I can see Hogs. I actually can dig the Hogs.
All right, so check it. I like Red Hogs, but again, the Red Wolves. Think about the howling that people could do when they score, that sound coming out of the speakers. Like, I just think that's the most marketable. However, I do think I would finally go, I guess, with the Red Hogs because that has the most connection to Washington out of all the names. Because the best they were, when they were at their best, their offensive line was the best in Mammoth, and they were called the Hogs. And we all remember those heavy guys wearing the pig noses in the stands, dressed like girls, right? They're female hogs. I don't know why. That's another slam on women, I think. But he was just dancing like this. They dance like this. Look,
and everyone that used to do that is dead. Look,
wow, that's depressing.
None of them remember. Nobody remembers any of this stuff except us.
Wow, that's. Let's have a moment of silence for the Hogs being dead.
He just threw us down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
All down a flight of stairs.
Jesus Christ, I like the Hogs. What the hell? All right. Let's move on to another story. See how Kev the Grinch squashed that one. Aaron Rodgers says he wants to enjoy the season. He doesn't want it to be a farewell tour. My immediate reaction was, well, then, there, face. Why'd you do what you did? Why are you doing what you do? The way you're acting, what you've said, the way you've handled yourself, it sounds like it's your last year with Green Bay. So it's like a retirement farewell tour. What do you expect it to be, Matt?
Well, like I said, I got cut off in the last show, right? But I was going to start talking about this. He sat down, Mr. Brady. He talked about what Brady did to get out. I knew right when Brady wrote his contract to get a stipulation to not have to sit down with them, that Bill Belichick and the Patriots were going to be doing their diligence and looking to move on, and Brady was going to go test the waters. When that happened, I knew that it was over. When that contract was laid, it was over. It's over for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. This is a farewell tour. He's saying it. Brady never did say it. Brady will always lie to you when he's going to retire, where he's moving. He's not very public with his word. Aaron Rodgers is like, look at me. He's going to let you know, and he's going to scorch the earth, to be honest with you. If you can get Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams in fantasy, I think they're going to be very selfish this year. I think they're going to put up a lot of numbers, and I think that you're going to see Aaron Rodgers bank on himself, and he knows he can.
That's where I agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers has one of the most selfish years and just throws bombs. That's where I'm at with him. Right?
Yeah, the problem is he may have one of those years, but they're not going to win a championship if he's going to be talking like that in the preseason and being a distraction in the locker room. The problem is every time he sees one of these, he develops diarrhea of the mouth, and he can't shut up. Like, he needs to just shut up. He got what he wanted. Now be the veteran leader, team player that you need to be to lead this team and maybe win a championship.
Brother Ray,
before you leave town.
He really didn't get what he wanted. What did he get? He didn't get anything. He didn't really get much.
They gave him that last year off. They took away that last year.
He did get that, but he got Randall Cobb. That's all he got. He wanted to call shots.
He wants to leave next year. He got it.
Exactly. What else would you put into getting him stuff, knowing he's leaving?
Well, I think that they wanted to rectify, and to be honest with you, it looked like he pushed Green Bay into a corner, of course, but they didn't give him, he wanted the GM fired. He wanted more reins. He didn't get that. He's out, and there's a break. He didn't get anything. He got one more year. He rectified the situation to the point that we're going to get to see him play, which is great. I want to see talent on the field. I do. But he didn't get what he wanted.
They were one of the best teams in the NFC last year. They were one of the best teams. They have one of the best running backs. They have the best wide receiver in the game. Like, they have a good offensive line. Like, they almost made it to the Super Bowl. Like,
but they have a guy who would rather. They have a quarterback who would rather throw the ball out of bounds instead of take a chance and to ruin his stats. He's not kill cutthroat. He's not a big game player. We've seen it. I mean, how many years has he been playing now? He's got one title.
He's a head case. I will stick by that. He's a head case, and he's not doing his team any favors right now.
Kev?
He's a very, very special player.
And that's like the interesting thing to see how this year plays out, because everything we said, I kind of agree with, and I'm kind of curious to see, does he actually like just go all in to win a championship, or does he go all in to have an amazing statistical year where you see him like walking off the field, like when it's like when the coach makes a bad play call and he's kind of shrugging and kind of laughing a little bit? Does he do that, or does he go all in to win a championship? And
I don't.
you know what's the worst thing about it, King? The worst thing about it is it's not going to matter. Next year, teams are going to line up to dump draft picks on him no matter what as long as he doesn't like completely flame out this year, which he won't. If he's a little selfish, no one's going to care. And I don't like that part of it.
Yeah, and to me, it gives him. I don't think he cares about bringing a championship to Green Bay right now. I think he cares about throwing as many TDs and not throwing interceptions and building up his value so he can go somewhere next year to a team that he thinks he can compete right now and win a championship.
I believe that the NFL is not the NBA yet. I will stick by and say I don't believe the NFL is the NBA yet, where it doesn't matter. I think if I'm the Denver Broncos and I see this guy sell his team out and completely just like toss in the towel, I got to be thinking to myself, is this the guy that I really want? I don't know.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
But he'd be going to Denver, where the head of everything was a guy who refused to go to the Colts in the draft. So maybe he might have something in common with him. You know what I'm trying to say? So I wonder about that. I don't know. Again, I'm worried about Rodgers this year. All right. Next ridiculous statement was Andy Dalton said it's my time. That was his words. It's my time. He plans to be. I don't know. But as far as football, he thinks he's going to be the starting quarterback. Like he's like Justin Fields is going to wait. You know, this is my time right now. And the funny thing is, imagine saying after you had all those years in Cincy with AJ Green and that stuff, imagine saying now you play with the Cowboys a year, the Red Rockets just getting older and older, and he looks around at the Bears team and said, "This is my time." My question is, to do what? Kev, what is his time to do?
Look, that's absolutely ridiculous. I guess everyone's competitive. He was a starting quarterback. He probably thinks he still should be. He's probably the only one that thinks that, obviously. And, I guess he's just got to say what he's going to say for his ego. But best case for the Bears is that he quickly realizes his time is meant to mentor Fields and get him on the field. But I don't think. I hope he sees it that way. I hope he was just like
no.
puffing things up.
No, he's not, dude. He is in full competition with Fields, and I'm of the opinion that he's not trying to help Fields out at all. I think he wants to show that he can still play, and he's trying to bury the kid. Like I really think he's one of those guys that doesn't want to help the young ones. Matt.
Well, it's his last hurrah. I think he knows that. He went to a place where he wanted an opportunity to play. He's going to get that. And I think it's great to keep him burning, the light burning, because if he didn't have Fields behind him, it's that keeping him motivated to say the things he's saying. Does he believe him? Absolutely. I love Danny Dalton coming out of TCU, and I think he's a purebred passer. I think he's a good passer. I think that he's got the tools there, and I think that he's in a good situation. I think he could thrive there. I think we might be biting our words a little bit here with the Red Rocket. He's not bad, and I'll tell you what, he's probably better than he's definitely better than 10 of the top 32. He's probably in the top 20 to 20. I think I take him over the last bottom third of the NFL starters, I'd say. I'm trying to think of all the people that are in there, but I take him on my team over Cam any day.
I know, but anytime you're comparing them to the bottom three, like who freaking cares? You know what I'm trying to say? Like the bottom third.
Well, you say that, but there's like, say, the top 15 quarterbacks, right? All of them are probably more closer together than I would say the bottom half. And I don't think that he's a bottom of the barrel type of quarterback. I don't think he turns the ball over terribly, and I think he can spread the ball around.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Matt, we're talking about Andy Dalton, the guy that came from the Bengals. I want to make sure we're talking about the same guy, right?
I love Andy Dalton.
Right.
I love Andy.
Ray?
I don't have any of his cards.
No, you don't. Ray?
He grows a great beard. Don't get me wrong. He grows a tremendous beard, so I got to give him props for that. But he was 2 for 4 for 18 yards last week against the Dolphins, and he looked awful. I mean, the thing is, but we know the ceiling on. Like, we know that we know what we're going to get with Andy Dalton at his best, and that is not a win in the playoffs. That is not going to be a championship or a Super Bowl appearance. So why are they going to waste their time this year and start him 6 games? If that happens, unless there's, and I can guarantee you they're not going to be 6-0. If they do that, Matt Nagy is gone. He is going to be bagging groceries at the local food mart because it's not going to work.
I don't think so.
Justin Fields, we know what the ceiling on this kid is, and it's big, and it's a lot more than what Dalton can do.
But that's why they're tied to Justin Fields, and when you have him tied to Justin Fields, you're not going to plague him on what Andy Dalton did. Andy Dalton was a stopgap. He was somebody in case they couldn't get somebody like that. You guys know how I feel about Justin Fields coming out the draft. I thought he was the second best quarterback. He's a big game winner. He makes big time throws. I don't think he falls into the category of Dwayne Haskins. He's not that player. He is prolific. I think that the Bears got themselves a great future. So I don't think that they're going to give up on Matt Nagy when they just tied him to the hip. I think that Andy Dalton will be a stopgap, at least for the first. It's a long season. I think that they give Andy Dalton at least 5-6 games. He's almost kind of in the same boat as Cam.
Kev, they're starting Mitchell Trubisky this week. I want to throw that in there too.
I'm confused by Mastronom's thing here. Like, maybe you saw Dalton for a week or two just to like let Fields figure out what's going on, but Dalton is not a quality quarterback. He was at his best. He only threw 30 touchdowns once in his entire career. He threw 30 touchdowns once, and he's deteriorated. His skills are gone. You saw him with Dallas last year. Dallas had a bad offensive line, but he was terrible. He was absolutely awful. Like, the sooner they get him out of the way, you got to get him out of the way.
It's all about having the answers to the test. Like, he went to Dallas. I mean, it's a different playbook. I think that was his first time in the NFL going to a different system. I don't know how many times he's had different offensive coordinators. I don't have the answer to that. But going to a different, team, being thrown in the mix, he was thrown in there because Ben DiNucci was a rookie. You know how I feel. You're in the dock until you feel comfortable. I don't really want to know. I don't want to assess your talent until you really know where everybody is on the field. I think he'll have a better understanding of the offense in the Bears. I think the world of Allen Robinson. And then you got Cole Kmet. We haven't even talked about Cole Kmet. Talk about tight end sleepers. Cole Kmet is a beast, and he's going to be this year, breaking out in a big way.
Let me ask you this, though. Did you just say that we can't judge the guy because he's got a new offensive coordinator and there's new weapons around him?
When he was in the Cowboys system, yeah, he was thrown kind of into action. He wasn't really he was traded for during the season, was he not?
Andy Dalton for the Cowboys?
Yeah. Last year when Dak went down, they made a trade for him.
No, he was there before him.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, then Mr. Never Left was wrong.
Yeah.
And to be honest, to say that because he's got a new offensive coordinator and new weapons that you can't really judge him, that goes right back in the face of Daniel Jones. Hasn't had the same offensive coordinator once. This will be the first time he's ever had one 2 years in a row. So, see what I mean? Like, you can't use that for one guy and not.
Well, you also think Judge is a good coach, and he's going to be fired at the end of this year because he is an embarrassment to any organization, and he is going to be gone.
Hold on a second.
Okay, so hold on. Two quick things. Number one,
I wanted to mute him for a second.
We just set a record. We actually got 44 minutes and 30 seconds into a football show without mentioning Daniel Jones. That's a record. And number two, I actually agree with M1. I think Judge he may not get fired this year, but it'll be next season.
You guys don't know football then because you're not watching like what they're putting together. The Giants are putting together a very, very, very good team that backs each other up and has talent everywhere. And again, I dare you to find a defensive backfield that matches up with the Giants right now. Like, They've got a lot of people. There's a lot of weapons. And Joe Judge has them all chomping at the bit. You can't say he doesn't. Go ahead, man.
He doesn't. He's lost control of his team quite a few times just this offseason. He does not have control of that squad.
How did he lose control?
They basically had a huge fight in one of these preseason, not preseason. I think it was a team's joint practices. Yeah.
Do you find that unusual though? You find that unusual that there's fights, Matt, at a practice?
I like it actually. It shows you get your hands on another opponent. It's not your family that you're putting your hands on every day. Antonio Brown has a great left hook. It happens, and we'll talk about that, in another segment. But I'll tell you right now, it always happens, and it's good to see it when it happens with another team and not their own. But there's also a time and a place when you look at daddy, and that's coach. You take on the personality of your coach. That's a fact. So they're taking on the personality of Joe. He wants them to be overly aggressive. That's fine. You know how I feel about that. I like aggressive nature, especially on a defense. I want my players to play passion. I just really feel that his mouth, the way he talks, you can't take somebody serious when they continuously very unbecoming.
Matt, do you own? Never mind Google. Do you own like a dictionary at home?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have one? All right, look up.
Yeah,
go to the H's. Go to the H's. Look up hypocritical.
What?
Here's another one. You guys will like this. Devonta Smith is expected to play. They're very happy,
Tonight?
the Eagles. Devonta Smith is expected to play. He's still a little bit iffy.
I got a lot of money on the Eagles.
He's still a little bit iffy because of the injury. Because of the injury that he got. But he's expected to play. Now, second preseason game, he's already being talked of with injuries, like injury problems, getting over injuries. What did I say? I feel like I'm talking to my kids. What did I say before this all started? He's too small. He's going to get dinged up like crazy. Watch. This is the kind of kid that gets banged up like crazy. You guys don't want to agree with me, but he's already hurt. He's already being listed in the second game as maybe he will, maybe he won't. No? Ray?
Absolutely not.
Ray?
This is the NFL.
The real games have not even started yet. I mean, he may even play tonight. I mean, his strength in college was getting off bump and run. He played in the SEC and he dominated the SEC. And all the cornerbacks that play in the SEC are pretty much going to be playing in the pros. He was dominant off the line. He's too quick. The rules now, if this isn't in the 1970s where Mike Haynes could jump on your back and Lester Hayes can drag you down the field, it's a new NFL.
This isn't the SEC though; it's the NFL, and it stands for not for long. Not for long. If you get dinged up like that and only weigh 170 pounds,
this kid's going to humiliate you, King. This kid is going to embarrass you. It is going to be ugly. This kid could be Rookie of the Year easily.
On this one, last one I agree with. Last one I agree with. This one I agree with you, King.
No,
absolutely not. Jalen Hurts has been.
Wait, go ahead, Kev. Give your.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to amount to much. I think he's going to get the crap beat out of him. I think he's going to break down. I think Waddle is the guy. I think Chase is the guy. I don't think Smith is going to be a guy.
And he's the genius.
Because I agreed with you. Last one I agree with M1, and I was the idiot. But
No, I didn't say that. I thought it, but I didn't say it.
Thought it really loud.
I would say that. I never would say that. No.
Do you guys like Jerry Jeudy? Do you like him?
Love him.
How about Julio? Do you like Julio?
Love Julio.
Oh yeah. Okay. This kid is better than both of them.
Wow.
Put up better numbers. Was better than all of those out. Calvin Ridley, you like him? He's pretty explosive. This kid's better than him too.
Right. What team did this kid play on in college?
The same team those guys played on, Alabama.
Was Alabama as stacked as they were the last couple of years when you had at one point Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, and Tua as your quarterbacks in the quarterback room, and your receivers were Devonta Smith?
All these guys played together.
What did Julio Jones play with that was as good as Waddle?
Calvin Ridley was on the team when he played.
Look, I
Then
can't
Waddle,
believe
and
you said
Judy,
Julio.
and
What?
he's
Wait.
better numbers than Julio. He outshined all of them. All of them.
There's no way he's better than Julio
How can you
Jones.
argue it?
I'm
He
arguing
was
it
in
'cause there's no way
college.
he's better than Julio Jones. No way.
He was in
No way.
college.
Yeah,
He
but
was
that's
in
college. That's college. You want to talk about the elementary school? Because I was probably better than him in elementary school. What are we talking about here?
SEC, the best division in college football.
Went up against the best
National
corners
championship.
Not the
Best
NFL.
corners every week.
every week. Same corners that are going to be playing this week, this year. He went up against them and he burned them
But the
by
weird
a
thing
long
is,
shot. He was always open. And not for nothing, a sports writer was watching the joint practices of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Patriots. And you know what they said? Exactly what me and Brother Ray was saying weeks and months ago, that Jalen Hurts looks like a Patty Mahomes.
okay. So before we switch to that, everything we talked about Smith, okay, it might all be true. But you know what's weird? He's not playing. And he's not practicing. And
This isn't where it counts.
That's
It
tough.
means nothing. It means nothing.
As a
means
rookie,
nothing.
it means something.
If
As a
it's
rookie, it
week
means
one,
something.
then you're right. If it's week one, then you're right. But he is walking in as the number one receiver on this team. Unquestioned. He's going
That's
to walk
true.
in and be the number one guy. So,
How much time
What's
left in
not
that
to
first
like?
quarter, brother?
by the way, Cam looks good.
Which is like an oxymoron. Let's discuss the top rookies for fantasy football that we think, like, as far as draft wise. I'm going to give you what Sporting News has, and we can adjust on that. So the number one rookie they have to draft is Najee Harris. Any argument with that? Because I don't.
No.
Yes.
You don't think Najee Harris would be the number one rookie taken?
No.
Are you
I
just
think
saying
there's
that to argue?
potential for. Nope. I think there's potential for Kyle Pitts to match that or be better. Yep.
It's good.
Okay. All right. Well, he's not. He's farther down the line. Number 2 is Jamar Chase. I like Jamar
I don't
Chase.
think so.
I love Jamar
I like
Chase.
Jamar Chase, but I think the year off of football is now we're seeing is he's sluggish. I think he'll turn into the player we know him to be, but right now he is sluggish.
He's struggling right now. But I mean, he'll get over that. But it's tough. A year off is
And
not easy.
So isn't Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's struggling right now coming back from the ACL. So if you take him, I mean, of course you're going to take him kind of late. But, you know, Joe Burrow's having his struggles too. So it's going to take him a little while to find his old friend.
But then again, it's only preseason, and that doesn't count until week 1. Kev?
Are we talking about just like this season or like kind of dynasty keeper?
Right.
Like, what are we talking about?
All right,
We're talking about this season, King. And the thing is, right, if you have players tied to other players, which he is tied to Joe Burrow, who's tied to a shaky offensive line, who's tied to a shaky injury coming back. So I would say tread lightly. That's why I'm saying has nothing to do with injuries. Jalen Hurts is not injured. And right now they're probably playing precautionary with Smith there. I mean, Smith.
I think Burrows gets it. I think Jamar Chase clicks in with those other wide receivers, and I think Jamar Chase is a monster. Kev?
Oh, I like Jamar Chase a lot. The stuff about doesn't look like he has his explosiveness. I think that's all BS. Like, you look at the amazing wide receivers in the NFL right now, like DeAndre Hopkins. He doesn't get immense amounts of separation, but at point of the catch, he just muscles people out of the way and makes a catch. So I'm not going to fall for the stuff you're hearing out of the Bengals camp.
Yeah, especially Bengals camp.
No, he's a stud. I mean, there's no doubt he's a stud. I mean, she's got to be one of the top 3 rookies. It's got to be. He's got to be up there.
Number 3, Kyle Pitts.
No question. None.
Right?
No question.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Let's be honest. Is he going to make that big a difference as a tight end in his rookie year? His rookie year. You think he's just going to come out and immediately be Kyle Pitts with the Falcons? You think that with Matt Ryan? Really?
He's unstoppable. He's unstoppable.
Kev?
The weird thing is he going to be a tight end or is he going to be a wide receiver? And like, that's the thing. Like, tight ends notoriously come on slow. And I've looked a lot into, like, you look at the year 1 for all the huge tight ends in the last like 20 years. Most of them don't hit. But I think they're going to play him more like not in line. They're going to spread him out. I think you have to look at him almost as a wide receiver, and I think he'll hit.
Absolutely. He's Calvin Johnson 2.0. They're going to play him a lot as the X. They will have him in line to take advantage of linebackers. He can do it all. I mean, he's got that skill. So you're going to see like a hybrid wide receiver tight end, and he could break Dick's record for tight end yardage.
Matt, really quick. Matt, really quick on him because I want to fight to the other guys.
I said long ago he's worthy of the 4th pick overall. That's where he fell. I think that he's going to have wide receivers numbers out of the tight end position. I think it's going to be often, quick, fast, furious, and it's going to be every week. I think he's got the room to do it with Calvin Ridley getting double coverage. They're going to let the young kid flow until he, is demanding the coverage. Even when they put the coverage on him, it's going to be too late. He's that good. You can double cover him if you want. Matt Ryan's still a very efficient quarterback. I think he has all the numbers you're looking for. I think he's the tight end 3 overall this year. I think if you draft him late, put him in your tight end slot, you're going to be paying dividends every week.
Matt Ryan loves the tight end. Yeah. Loves the tight end, Matt Ryan. Kev, you know that?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is you can't draft him late. He's going like way too high. There's no way to sneak draft Pitts. He's got too much hype. Too much
steam. Like, what's his ADP?
Let me get all the way to let me get to 12, and then we can discuss because I want to speed it up here at the end. 12, number 3, Travis Etienne, running back. Number 4. I'm sorry, Travis Etienne, running back, Jaguars. Number 5, Javonte Williams, running back, Broncos. All right, this is one I need someone to help me with here. Melvin Gordon's still there, right?
Yeah.
So how is this kid that high up as a rookie in his rookie year? Like, wouldn't he be more of a fantasy type pick the first year, or do you think he really takes over in Denver like right away for Melvin Gordon?
Right away. Faster, quicker, better hands out the backfield. Melvin Gordon's been a plotter in recent years. He hasn't been much of a threat. He lost his burst. Quickly he takes over.
I disagree. I love this kid. Don't get me wrong. Just put on the tape against Miami and 320-something yards he ran for, whatever it was. But no, I think he's going to be great. I think 2022 will be his time. I think he may gradually take over as the season progresses. But, I don't know. I think for now, I think he'll be number 2 and then kind of start to take over maybe as the season progresses. He looks great. Everybody's raving about him in camp. The stat I liked about him was he was the best running back with bouncing off contact, getting yards after contact in the entire country. So that's a really nice stat when you're looking at moving into the NFL.
Kev?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Master Thomas and Brother Ray said. I don't think, but I'm a little more in the Brother Ray camp there. I think he'll start second half of the season, something like that. But I don't think Melvin Gordon is going to give up the job. He's not. He's smart enough to realize this is his last contract. He's not just going to step aside and let this rookie go. But
he
Williams
played well. He played well at the end of last year too, guys. He came on strong at the end of last year.
Agreed. All right, let me run through a couple more, just to get to 12. Number 6, Michael Carter, running back from the Jets. I have a big problem with anybody putting Jets players here, just because. Come on, Michael Carter, he's not going to be the head back. What are we thinking here? He is?
No, they're saying he's outshining LaMichael Perrine in camp right now. They're saying a lot of good things about Michael Carter.
Yeah, he's going to be phenomenal. Well, not phenomenal, but he's going to be a good pickup. He's going to get a lot of carries. He's probably going to
PPR. He'll be good.
What?
Won't he be good in PPR as far as that?
Javonte was the pass catcher. He's more of the straight ahead.
Yeah, they don't have anybody. Michael Perrine, he's been around for years. He's never really separated himself. It's a bad offense. It's a bad team.
2 years.
Michael Carter's talent.
LaMichael Perrine was a rookie last year.
Yeah. The thing with Carter I don't like is he's not as fast as you would like, and he goes down on first contact a little too much for my liking. He has great moves, though. I like him in a one-cut system, and I think he's good as a committee back. The kid I like, and no one's talking about him, but he has done really good in flashes, is Ty Johnson. And he's got the size. He's 5'11", he's like 215, and the kid is like a 4'3" guy. He looked good in that first exhibition game last week, and they gave it to him more times than Carter. So, but I do think Carter has potential, and he was the running mate with Javonte Williams. They both tore up the ACC. So I don't know about they're going to be a bad team. He may get those garbage passes, in the flat when they're down by 20 points.
Kev?
No, I agree with all that. And M1, you're right. Perrin was a rookie last season, but I think Michael Carter. It was a reasonable draft pick investment in him. I think he's got talent. He was part of that North Carolina duo. I think he'd be a good pickup.
All right, and you have Coleman too. You have Coleman. Sorry, okay, you have Coleman too. So they are going to give him first dips.
All right, let me get to 12, then we'll just recap it quick. 7 is Trey Sermon, running back for the 49ers. 8, Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars. 9, Trey Lance. 10, Devonta Smith, Eagles. 11, Jalen Waddle, Dolphins. And then 12, Rashad Bateman, Ravens. Now, out of all the names I just said, the sleeper to me would be Rashad Bateman out of everybody else. Like, I just think that he's worth a pick. Maybe he's not better than them, but I think he's going to end up having value where he falls.
I disagree. I think that he hurt his core. I think he's going to be hurt coming up the gate. But my diamond in the rough there is Sermon. I think that 49ers have not bad feeling. I do think there's mutual bad feelings between each other. The contract between Mozart and the 49ers, they didn't want to give it to him. He's always injured. That's another reason why I think Sermon could quickly get in there. He's a lot tougher than Mozart, and he's a lot more talented. He's gifted.
Anybody else?
Big fan of Sermon. Huge fan. I agree with everything M1 said. I'll stop there.
Right.
I do like Sermon. There's a reason why they trade up to get him. He is maddening though. He can have some really good tape, and then he completely confound you and make really bad decisions. So it'll be curious to see what Trey Sermon they get over there. If they get the one that dominated Ohio State at the end of the year, then yeah, he's a perfect fit for that one-cut system.
Okay, hey, listen, guys. We're going to wrap it up. We've got Barfangul coming on right after this. So if you're watching this show, just stay tuned. We'll have the other show come right back on. This Sunday, we have at 11 a.m. another fantasy football show. We're going to break down positions more for the fantasy people. Like Thursday night shows, we'll do more talking. Sunday shows, we'll do more stats and people you should draft. As far as the legit fantasy football league, we had 8. I got confirmation from Junior and Gentleman Dave to take 2 spots. That's 10.
I got one.
11. We need one more. We're 1 away from filling the league. It's going to be awesome, right? And we'll do that live on the show. Let's wrap it up. Ray, anything you want to say quick?
Now, again, this will be a key week, I think, for exhibition games. I think you want to pay attention to the first quarter of these games, and because they'll try and get them out quick. But you'll start to see what teams are looking to do, and the players that they really will be leading them this year.
Kev,
I got Brother Ray. I have to apologize, but I got Patriots plus a half point first half, and I got under 38.5 on the game. Patriots are up 13-0 right now, so
wow.
Feeling
Cam
good.
Touchdown.
Really?
Yeah, Cam looking good, guys.
Matt, you want to add anything?
I'm losing you guys. I hope that this isn't good. I started losing you guys in the last broadcast late, and it just started freaking getting a little slow right there. But I'm ready to go. I'm glad Cam's looking good, but he's duty.
Matt, are you ready to host? Are you ready to host Barfangul?
I'm ready to go.
All right, then. So, for legit fantasy football from legitpodcast.com, we are signing off, but stay tuned. You will have Barfangul in probably about 5 minutes. For Brother Ray, for Mastradamus, for the Genius Kev, for the soon-to-be NFC East champion New York Giants, it's me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L, Mark Bavaro behind me. legit fantasy football. Stay tuned for Max Carr. What he's going to do, I don't know. And legit Bafangul. No, wait, not legit Bafangul. Just Bafangul. Give us about 5 minutes, guys. We will be back. Start drinking.